Finance Director, Dan Defnall. This is our third and final public hearing for the millage rate. Our first meeting was on Thursday, June the 20th at 10 a.m. at the Women's Club. Our second public hearing was on Thursday, June the 20th at 6:30 p.m. at the Women's Club. And as I mentioned, today is our third and final millage rate public hearing here at 6:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers. Next slide. What is the millage rate and homestead exemption? So I'm going to start a little bit by doing some property tax 101. The millage rate is the tax rate that is applied to the assessed value of taxable property to calculate the amount of property tax to be paid. The millage rate is usually stated as dollars per thousand. For example, a millage rate of 1 mil is $1 per thousand of assessed value. For calculation purposes, the millage rate is stated as 0.001. Homestead exemption, a legal provision that helps reduce the amount of property taxes owed on owner-occupied homes. Exemptions are established by state law and voted upon by citizens in a given city, county, or school district. Basic homestead exemption is one of the local exemptions currently offered for the City of Clarkston residents. Next slide. Basic homestead exemption. To qualify, you must own, occupy, and claim the property as your legal residence on January 1st of the year in which you first qualify for the exemption. The person applying for homestead exemption must be listed on the deed. You must continue to own and live in the home as your primary residence as long as you claim the exemption. Next slide. To apply for the exemption, if you do not already have a basic homestead exemption, you must have applied for the benefit, and the deadline to apply was April 1st of 2024. All homestead exemption filings are applied for directly with the DeKalb County Board of Assessors Office by mail, in person, or online. For filings, please call 404-298-4000. That's the DeKalb County Property Tax Information. We want it for the benefit of the public. We provided the physical address, which is 4380 Memorial Drive, Suite 100, Decatur, Georgia, 30032, and they're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for online information, you can go to decalbtax.org. Next slide. Things you need to know. While all homeowners in the City of Clarkston may qualify for a basic homestead exemption, different exemptions may also apply for property taxes for DeKalb County and DeKalb County School District. There are many different exemptions available for seniors and people with full medical disabilities. I mentioned seniors. In doing some research, the finance director shared information with me that in the City of Clarkston, we do have a senior exemption for those individuals 65 years of age and over in the amount of $20,000. Also, I wanted to share disability exemptions are also available for veterans and their surviving spouses. Exemptions are also available for surviving spouses of peace officers and firefighters killed in the line of duty. And many special exemptions have requirements for age and income. Again, for more information, we encourage you to contact the DeKalb County Tax Commissioner's Office at 404-298-4000. Next slide. How does the homestead exemption reduce property taxes? Each property is appraised at fair market value. The market value is the current estimated amount that property can be bought or sold The assessed value is 40% of the market value and is used as the basis for calculating the property tax levy or bill here in the state of Georgia. The property tax is then taxed at 40% of the fair market value, which equals the assessed value. The homestead exemption amount is then deducted from the assessed value, which equals the taxable value. Tax amounts are calculated using the city, school, and county millage rate times the taxable value. Next slide.
Next, we'll talk about the rollback rate. The rollback rate is the millage rate that would raise the same amount of tax revenue as the previous year if applied to the current value of the property that was on last year's tax digest. Our current rollback rate for 2024 is 12.454 mills. We are recommending the millage rate at 13.89. The value of the rollback value to generate the same revenue as last year would be $4,879,076. Our anticipated tax revenue at 13.89 mills would be $5,441,000, with a revenue difference of approximately $563,000. Next slide. The tax rate comparison. We have recommended that we keep the current millage rate that we had in 2023 and continue that into 2024 at 13.89 mills. An estimated City of Clarkston property tax bill. This is only the City of Clarkston portion of your bill. Your bill also includes the county taxes and your county school taxes. Of fair market value per 100,000 of value, the 40% assessed value would be $40,000, and the millage rate at 13.89 for each $100,000 of fair market value, your taxes would be $555.60.
Next slide. As previously mentioned, city leadership, we are recommending the finance director as well as the city manager's office that we keep the millage rate the same. We are not recommending a millage rate increase in the city of Clarkston. The tax rate will be the same for 2024 as it was in 2023. The millage rate is established by the levying authority each year, which is our city council. Next slide. The reason for the recommendation is that developing an operating and capital budget for a municipality is a very complex and layered process. Again, the city manager's office as well as the finance department, we analyze personnel and other expenditure requests submitted from departments. Our projected revenues must balance with our projected expenditures. It is a balancing act between the desired service levels and the cost of those service levels. With the revenue projections and expenditures for FY 2024 budget, which has already been approved, we recommend maintaining the current millage rate of 13.89.
Next slide. Next, I want to talk about the impact of tax adjustments after the digest was finalized in 2023. We're working off of a preliminary digest. And the city of Clarkston, sometimes we don't receive all of the expected property tax revenues to be collected. Based on 2023, we only received 81% of the total projected property taxes because our original tax assessments were at revenue projected at $4,849,000. Our actual assessments after adjustments for the final digest came in at $4,640,000, and then after the final digest, we had additional almost $744,000 in negative tax adjustments that reduced our actual revenue to $3,900,000. Next slide. This slide shows we have to publish in our ads for the millage rate our current 2024 property tax digest and 5 years of history of the tax levy that shows the assessed values and the millage rate for the last 5 years.
Next slide. So that brings us to questions, and Mayor, that completes our portion of the presentation, and this is a public hearing.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you again, Mr. Duffnall and Interim City Manager Jones and all the staff for the work that you did to compile this information. We truly appreciate this. At this time, Council, did you have any questions that you'd like to bring up? If not, then we will close out item 4A and then move into item 4B, which is the public hearing. At this time, we will allow the public the opportunity to speak on the 2024 millage rate. Ms. Mitchell, did you have anyone signed up?
There's no one signed up.
Okay, but since people are here, public. Okay, come to the mic. Yes, you may. Okay, no problem.
Hello, my name is Tim Hall, and I live at 3525 Bacon Street. I just learned of this particular topic in this meeting a couple hours ago, so I've done my best to prepare, but I've reviewed, I think, what's outlined in the agenda, and I just wanted to state my objections in opposition, point by point. I meant to bring my phone, so I'm sure somebody's keeping time on me, but if you'll let me know when I get to my 3 minutes. The first item, amending the table 3.4 to increase the FAR to 1.0, that would increase the FAR, and what I understand, that's the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
So at this time, we're just talking about the millage
Oh,
rate.
I'm so sorry.
So you got plenty
I'm so
of time
sorry.
coming up, and
I'll be
you can look on your phone and get it all together. All right, thank you. So again, for anybody who is interested in the millage rate, we want to open it up to the public and allow them the chance. So with that, Mr. Medford,
I will say, I did look on the agendas, and I didn't see where I needed to sign up ahead of time.
that's okay.
And
That's
so
why I said
in the
it's a
back, yeah.
public hearing.
So we can add that to the agenda next time.
That's all right, no
All right.
problem.
So on the budget hearing, I'd like to thank the city for keeping the millage rate the same as last year. Thank Dan for running the numbers. Continue the reduction since 2014 in our millage rate. But we need to look back at what allowed us to make that first big leap in millage rate drops back in 2014. Annexation. While there isn't much we can do about DeKalb's property taxes, we can do something about the city taxes.
You okay? Keep going.
What needs to be done is spread the load. We need to put annexation back on the table because other revenue growth opportunities seem to be kind of petered out constantly. Since we refuse to get serious on infill housing solutions or growing the tax base via additional housing, the way it's usually done, we're kind of painted into a corner, so no way to raise more tax revenue except for ratcheting up taxes. The answer is to have a serious discussion about annexation. No more kicking the can down the road, no more studies that need to be done. We've been doing a couple. Time to annex the rest of 30021. We had good results with the previous annexations, and it's time to finish the job. We can't keep digging the same hole, folks. It's getting deep. I'm lucky. I was able to absorb DeKalb County's tax raises. A lot of our neighbors can't. I was really disappointed to see some of the tax sales that are coming up next month. It's sad to see some of the Clarkston residents' properties going up for sale. It's hard, I get it. So we need to help raise this burden off the shoulders of the property holders and take what little is left, around 30021, and make Clarkston all of Clarkston. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak? Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak on the 2024 millage rate? Do we have anyone from the public who would like to speak? Saying it 3 times, we are closing the public hearing, and we then will move into item, oh, did we have anyone online? I just want to make sure. Okay. We'll move on to 4C, which is to approve an ordinance to adopt the 2024 millage rate. And at this time, I will take a motion. Yes.
I move that we adopt an ordinance to keep the 2024 millage rate the same as the 2023 millage rate, that is 13.89 mils.
Second. Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded that we keep the 2023 millage rate for the 2024 at the 13.89. Is there any further discussion? Are you ready for the question? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any nays? Motion passed. Okay. With that, I will take an adjournment for this session of the meeting.
Madam Mayor, I have a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second. It has been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Meeting is adjourned. And that means we have 10 minutes before the actual council meeting. Thank you all.